Hello, it's Vicki again. Having done your designs, we need to know now how to go about making our mosaic, how we map it out on our board, whether that's wood for internal mosaics, whether it's onto a wall directly, or whether for outside, and I've used this cement board, which is good for outside work, how we do it for cement board, how we draw it out and how we go about placing the tiles on and adhering them with adhesive and grouting. So my next video will be about how to make the mosaic. Okay, hello again. I'm actually going to show you now how to make the mosaic. So having designed it, whether it's your leaf design, you could do many if you wish, which is to do with new life, or I've got this lovely picture of Plymouth Lighthouse, and I'm going to show you how you go about making this. This is called the direct method of mosaicing, where you mosaic straight onto cement board or ply board, or you could do it straight onto wall. I've used cement board because it's going outside this mosaic, and I'm using exterior adhesive, and I'm going to use an exterior grout. Can you see that the first thing you need to do is to draw out your mosaic with a marker pen? It could be a graphite pencil, but as long as you can see it. And if you feel happy tracing it on, you can get some guidance on that if needs be. I've also indicated where the colours are going to be. So I've put green here, I've put blue here, I've indicated red and yellow there, red and white where the red and white are, and where the blue of the sea is, and white. This is so I've got some clarity when I actually come to mosaic this, and I know that I won't make a mistake. Having done that, I will need to cut the tiles, place them on, and I'm going to show you how to do this now. The other thing to note is that you really do need to wear, if you're using adhesive or grout, some protective gloves, and you will also need to have a visor, or let me get mine here, a visor or some goggles. This is so you don't get any of the adhesive on your skin, and you should really have someone beside you guiding you if you feel unsure. So first of all, I've got my visor on. I'm going to put that on, okay, and I'm going to draw out my design. Now, we did a design of a leaf with the ideas of the resident in Plymouth. I've decided to duplicate the leaves 3 times, so I'm actually going to draw that out for you now. So we have our little tail of our leaf, 1, 2, 3, like that, and I might actually just have a lovely ridge tile around here, and I'm actually going to indicate, because I want this to come in a little bit, I might bring it in here. You can change your design several times. And this can come in here a little bit more. And once I've worked out where I'm going to have everything, I'm going to put green there. And I'm going to indicate that I'm going to have, I think, red out here. So the next thing you need to do is to select the tiles you're going to use. And I've got greens and yellows here and reds. I'm going to show you how you go about adhering it. So this is my outline. You might be able to see quite lightly of my leaves. You can use black pen if it works better for you. And in here, I've put a little bit of powdered adhesive. Now, like I said, I've got my visor on and I've got my gloves on because this is quite powdery and you don't want to inhale it. I'm putting a little bit of water in it, not too much, just enough to make a paste. I'm only mixing up enough to use a little bit at a time. The reason I do that is because I personally don't want to cover the whole of this with adhesive like I would be tiling a floor. I actually just want to have enough for the session that I'm doing today, which might only be a half an hour session that you're in the craft area, or that you've set down your tablecloth, protected tablecloth, just to be able to use it. Now, at the moment, can you see? You might be able to see. It's quite lumpy still, so I'm going to add just a little bit more, just to make it a paste. And I want it to be nice, thick paste. that is actually getting there now. Actually got a nice thick paste. And what I tend to do is sticking to my drawing here. And if you can't see it, I'm going to actually firm that up for you a little bit because the green isn't showing up terribly well there. And my design is there. I'm going to be putting green in here and red out here. So I've given myself an indication, and I'm going to go to my bowl and I'm going to pick up the red tile. I'm going to do the outside of the leaf first. I'm actually going to put down a little bit of adhesive. Now you can cover as much as the area that you would like. And I'm going to make it thick enough so it will actually get the tile to stick, but not so thick that it oozes out too much either side, because otherwise you'll end up having a mess. I've also textured it slightly by just using the side of my palette knife. I'm just using a knife here, and I'm just going to place the tile there. I'm going to go to the next tile and put it alongside. And you can actually have a little gap in between, because the grout then, whichever coloured grout you use, can go in between and fill in. Can you see it's not going anywhere there? It will dry within half an hour, and you can rub back and clean any debris away. If you need to cut the tiles, say for instance in here for my actual leaf interior, I need to use cutters. Again, cutters are quite dangerous, and if you're not happy doing this, use the tiles whole. But if you can, and you have someone who might be able to guide you, these tiles that I get from Mosaic Heaven, which I've ordered, and a lot of tiles have little ridges in them for cutting them. I go up to the ridge and I press hard with my tile cutter and I cut a little piece of tile. If you prefer to do the kind of more kind of creative side, you could break up some tiles in a bag, get someone to do it for you, and you could use little bits of tile. But you will need to be very careful about sharp edges, and it's better to have someone maybe file the edges for you first, if needs be. So I'm actually going to go into the middle now. And it's fine also to change your design part way through a little bit. So I think it might be really, really nice to have some yellows and greens in my leaf here. So I'm actually going to put a green ridge down the middle. I'm going to cut another one of these. Now, if someone's very, very good at cutting, it's a really good idea to get someone to cut a series of little tiles for you, if you decide that you want to do it that way. And then you can just get on with tiling or mosaicing, because that's what we're doing. So I'm going to put those there like that. And I've got my nice yellow here, changing my design slightly because I actually think the yellow will look really, really nice in contrast here. So I'm going to put one there, but can you see I've got a funny shape there? So I've actually got to cut a tile. A little handy hint, if you wet your tile, it's a little bit easier to cut. Some of them are more difficult to cut than others. This has actually got ridges at the back, but I actually want to do a little arch in it. So I'm going to go to the side, and I'm going to, because I've wet it, it's actually a little bit easier to cut. I'm going to just cut that. It's not going to be a perfect arch. You can file, if you really are keen on making it absolutely perfect, you can actually use a little file. And it's just giving me a little archway there to actually stick that in. Again, I'd like to have a little bit of a gap. Okay, so can you see I've actually got my little ridge tiles there, and I've got 2 tiles there. Now sometimes people use beads in their tiling. They might use, so I've got some here. It's bigger gaps actually, because I like the white of the tile coming in. I've used beads, I've used shells, I've used sea glass. So going back to this one that I started yesterday, which is my lighthouse, lighthouse, Seaton lighthouse. I can show you here how I might carry on. So again, because I've gone from dark blue to light blue, I'm going to put a little bit of this in here. Again, I'm only putting 2 tiles worth down at a time. There, like that. And I'm going for my blue. I'm going to make sure that I still use a mid blue, slightly going light as it's going down. So I'm actually going to put that there just as the sky gets light as it goes down. And can you see I've got a little bit of overflow there. So using a cloth or using the edge of your glove, you can just take that back. And in a half an hour, I'll be ready to wipe that back and polish that up. Okay, so that is basically how you go about mosaicing. Within an hour, you can wipe it back and polish with a cloth. And once it's dried, fully dried, you can grout it. And I will be showing you grouting on another video.